most important thing in photography is how to make light work for you. For most casual photographers, natural light, which is the sun, is the most convenient, if not the only source of light. You may not want to carry around a bunch of accessories, and in most cases you don't have to. By knowing two simple rules, you'll be able to make great pictures most of the time. The two rules to consider are the position of the sun relative to you, the photographer, and the light condition of the day. Let's get down to it. First, set your camera mode to P and ISO to 400. Then you're ready. First rule, make sure the sun is behind you, the photographer. To take shots of people while the sun is behind you, the sun should be at an angle of between 70 degrees and 20 degrees above the horizon. What about the sun to the left and right of you? It should be no more than between 80 degrees to your right and 80 degrees to your left. The best is somewhere around plus minus 30 to plus minus 45 degrees. Second rule, condition of light, sometimes called light quality. For people shots, avoid sunny and dark cloud conditions. Sometimes a partly sunny condition is also to be avoided. Now let's look at some sample shots. This is typically the result you want to see, an even exposure of both subject and background. Here, a partly sunny sky casts sharp shadows on the face, though the background scenery is outstanding. This is what happens when the sun is in front of the photographer. When the sun is in front, it can create a nice silhouette of the scenery, but it's not effective for people pictures. Here, in the same location but different time of day when the sun was behind, the result was a proper exposure of the person being photographed. And here's a side-by-side comparison. Or you can still remedy this situation by asking the subject to turn his face a bit towards the sun and getting closer, or by adjusting the camera exposure for the face, although the background can be washed out. This is a good scenery shot, but beware that the person being photographed is not under a shade. Side-by-side comparison of different light conditions. The partly sunny condition of the picture on the left caused harsh shadows. This is an example of light evenly distributed across the scene because of overcast skies. Now, what do you do when you still have to take a picture with the sun in front of you? That's when your camera flash comes in handy. Your flash adds light shown on your subject, and for this purpose is called a fill flash. But the range of the flash is limited, so I recommend the photographer be no more than 2.5 meters away from the subject. Let's look at some before and after shots. Here the face is underexposed. Exposure is improved with fill flash. A side-by-side comparison. Another one with no fill flash, and fill flash improved exposure on the face. Notice that the impact of fill flash on this shot is not as pronounced since the photographer is farther away from the subject. For daytime indoor shots, the window takes the place of the sun. Let's look at some samples again. With the window behind or on the side of the photographer, the camera did its work nicely. With window in front of the photographer and with fill flash. Or with no fill flash, you can still adjust the camera exposure for effect. Just be aware that the background will be overexposed. You can use window light for portraiture. Shown here are shots of the subject facing the window at different angles. There you go. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and click subscribe.